I'm at the beggar for refusing to sell my magic cards to pay for my honeymoon. My partner of 3 years and I are getting married next month, and emotions have been high with all of the planning. A few months ago, I get laid off. I have savings and an emergency fund, but jobs in my industry are hard to come by right now, so I don't know how long it needs to last. We had already put down most of the money for the wedding when I got laid off but had not yet planned our honeymoon. After a number of hard conversations, we decided that it didn't make sense to spend a big chunk of our savings on a honeymoon when the future was uncertain and the wedding was already expensive. So we decided to delay our trip until after I had a new job. This was a hard decision for both of us, as we both love traveling and we're excited to get to spend time together. A little extra context. I'm a huge nerd and a big Magic the Gathering fan. I have been playing the game for over 10 years and have amassed a large collection of rare and valuable cards. I have a weekly playground with some college friends, and it's one of my favorite parts of the week. My partner plays occasionally, but it's not as much of a fun as me or my friends. Last week, my partner decided to come with me to our weekly Magic game, which they occasionally like to do. They asked if they could borrow one of my desks, which I had been showed them the day before. Jokingly, I said sure, but be careful. It's worth over $1,000. They looked at me coldly and asked how much my total collection was worth, which I told them was probably around $10,000. Then they told me that they no longer wanted to come to the game that night and seemed kind of pissed off. But I had to leave quickly to be on time, so I didn't hear why. Later that night, they asked me why I couldn't just sell some magic cards to pay for my part of the honeymoon. I told them that as fun as the honeymoon will be, it will be only a one-time experience. But if I sold my cards, I will have to miss out on the weekly games, which are one of the best part of my week. They called me selfish and told me that I wasn't prioritizing our relationship like I should. I care a lot about our relationship, but just don't think that it's reasonable to ask me to give up something I love just to pay for a fun trip. So I'm at the bad guy here. I'm at the bad guy for having a menstruation hygiene talk with my niece. Backstory: my partner and I have a 6-year-old daughter. She comes from a family with 2 sisters, her very involved mother and her father, who isn't really that involved, at least I would say. My fiancé is a stay-at-home mom. The middle sister has a husband. No kids, but is seemingly married to her career. The eldest is a single mother of a 12-year-old girl. She's not very self-sufficient, but I'll get into that in a minute. Couple weeks ago, the elder sister was involved in an accident at work. She's had 3 separate surgeries and is now in a rehab facility for an unknown amount of time while she recovers. After the accident, our niece came to live with us. Basically, my fiancé and her mom have been up to their neck trying to sort through the sister affairs. Everything is a mess, from her house to her finances. Anyways, every day after I get home from work, my fiancé and her mom are off to go tend to the sister and or her colossal amount of problems. Few nights ago, while getting dinner going for the kids, I asked my niece to bring the bathroom hamper downstairs. Our daughter has her own bathroom, which she now shares with her cousin. It wasn't a thing we thought about, so they both ended up using the same hamper. The hamper was full and my niece had more dirty clothes on her bedroom floor. I began sorting the laundry as she went back upstairs to collect the rest. To my utter shock, I found 3 pairs of her underwear that had pads attached. When she got to the laundry room, she saw them set aside. My exact words were, "Oh, you need to peel the pads off and throw them away before tossing your underwear in the dirty pile." Her response was simple: "My mom takes care of that." I was kind of like, what? Because the pots were beyond full. I asked, "Don't you change your pads out a couple times through the day?" Her response, "No." Suddenly, it occurred to me. I had smelled something of color the previous day after picking her up from school. Of course, I wasn't going to point that out to her. But I did tell her that you're supposed to change and discard the pots in the trash multiple times a day, especially when you wake up in the morning. Obviously, I upset her because she took a pile of her clothes and threw them on the floor, then stormed off to her room. She wouldn't come back down for dinner either. While cleaning up, I get a call from my niece's mother. "Who do you think? You are speaking to my daughter about her period." She completely went off on me, saying I was so far out of line for not only embarrassing her child but putting her in an uncomfortable situation because I'm male. She wouldn't hear me out at all. I had to hang up because my fiancé was calling. I explained everything to her and her mom, to which they said what I did was fine. She requested her mom take her daughter, seeing that I've not traumatized you. That's not even possible though, so as it stands right now, the kids won't speak to me per her mother's instructions. But am I wrong here? Am I the bad guy for refusing to wear heels as a bridesmaid in my friend's wedding? My friend Abby is getting married and I could not be more happy for her. About a month ago, I was asked to be bridesmaid, alongside 5 other girls, and I accepted. We didn't hear any detail until recently. Last week, Abby invited us over to her home for a bridesmaid meeting, where she went over her expectations for us. During this, she went over the dress code. Long black dresses with nude heels. Cool, I can do that. However, things took an unexpected turn. Abby said that what she wanted in terms of the look of the bridal party was that she wanted to look the shortest compared to the rest of us, meaning that we were all required to wear heels that would make us look taller than her. For reference, the other girls in the bridal party are either already taller than her, roughly the same height as her, or slightly shorter than her. I'm the shortest out of the entire group. Abby is 5.6 and I'm a 5.1, meaning that in order to meet her expectations, I will have to go out and buy 6-inch heels. Here's where this become a problem. I have a pes planus, more commonly known as flat feet. My feet don't have arches on them. Because I don't have proper stoppers on my feet, they strain easily and cause muscle cramps, specifically if I'm not wearing proper shoes and standing so long with them. Both my doctor and a podiatrist that I had seen recommended that when it comes to heels, I stick to the 1-2 inch range, which I do. Occasionally, I will do 3 inches if I'm going to be sitting down for longer periods of time. There is no possible way I could do 6 inches. In addition to this, I also have mild bunions on both feet, so I will have to find a wider heel. The frustrating thing is that Abby knows this. I've talked about it. She's seen it. I went up to her later and expressed my concerns and asked if I could wear 3 inches heels instead due to my feet. She refused and said that if I was a true friend, I would wear the 6 inches and not make a fuss about it. She also said I was being selfish but not considering what the bride wants. I then asked her if I could change shoes during the reception. She said no, and that the only time I could take off our shoes when we were sitting down, but whenever we were standing, we will have to wear the heels, since she wants to look the shortest the entire day. I was mortified. When I expressed my frustration to the rest of my bridesmaids, most of them were understanding and thought that her rule was weird, but a few girls said that I was being kinda selfish and not considering the bride's happiness, and I should be able to go through a little bit of pain for her. Now I'm conflicted and wondering if I should have just kept my mouth shut, and I'm considering dropping out as a bridesmaid, but I'm worried how Abby would react. So am I the bad guy here? I'm at the bad guy for asking my partner to use headphones or stop watching TikToks out loud. We're living together, and we are both really busy people with our work and studies. We work office hours, I work from home, and I work pretty much non-stop, only for the next few years until I get my foot on the ladder in my chosen sector. She works in her office and comes home. The moment she comes home, she plays TikTok out loud. So she plays it until dinner, where we might talk for 30 minutes or so, then she plays TikTok again. She works sometimes from home as well, and she has TikTok on. It's always on. While she's in the bathroom, in bed before we sleep, it's on. It's always on. Also, I'm the type of person who loves silence, room to think and be at peace. The home isn't very big, so I asked her to use headphones to stop watching TikToks out loud. In response, she was offended and told me this is her home too. She says she uses it to wind down and stop thinking. Well, I agree it's her home too. The TikTok is non-stop and it is so annoying. 1 second, it's a man talking about pizza. Then a girl with a silly voice, then it's a musical number, then it's she pretending to be a dragon, there's a roadman acting Harry Potter, then it's non-stop. It just keeps going. I literally feel like I'm gone insane. On a side note, TikTok and the like are quite unhealthy from a psychological and neurological perspective. I've not told her this. I'm sure she knows. She's really intelligent. So I'm at the bad guy for telling my partner to use headphones or stop watching TikToks out loud. I'm at the bad guy for telling my mom she does nothing for me. I have a mother who is raging alcoholic. Growing up as an only child, I learned to take care of myself and not depend on my mother. I got a job at 14 and worked my ass off to get my license and a car with little financial help from my mother. I've helped her pay bills and pay for alcohol, parking tickets, and etc. This is the way I've known to grow and learn. Recently, I met a guy named Brandon. Brandon is a freshman in college, while I'm a senior in high school. Brandon has his own apartment, and upon hearing my home situation, he offered to let me move in with him. Shortly after I moved in, Brandon and I started dating. Last night, my mother came to my apartment and demanded I return home with her. She reeked of balls and cigarettes, and she could hardly hold herself up straight. She loudly exclaimed that since I'm only 17 and Brandon is a legal adult, she would call the police and charge him with kidnapping. I don't have the money to hire an emancipation lawyer or any lawyer for the case, so I responded, "I'm not going anywhere with you. I was more of a mother than you ever were. You did nothing for me growing up." Instantaneously, she began crying and stumbled away. She posted on Facebook saying I never appreciated anything she bought me or gave me as a child, and that I was selfish enough to move away without saying anything prior. My family is divided on the matter, and I don't know if I'm a bad guy here or not. So am I the bad guy for telling my mother she does nothing for me? Am I the bad guy for not telling my parents I changed my name? Okay, I hate my given name. I've tried to like it for my whole life, but I just can't anymore. I know my parents had good intentions where they gave me my name, but I hate it. It's the type of name you never heard and people always say how unique it is. And I don't think my parents thought about that when they named me. I love my parents deeply, but I just can't bring myself to feel comfortable with my given name. 2 months ago, my best friend helped me define a new name that I feel happy with. I finally feel comfortable with my new name, but I didn't want to offend my parents and tell them, "Hey, I hate the name you gave me, so I changed my name." So I didn't tell them once I made the change. My parents found out last week that I changed my name. Not on legal documentation since I'm still getting used to my new name. And they blew up at me, saying how hurt they were that I hid it from them. They called me a bad guy and saying that they needed time to proceed the death of their daughter. So I left and cried in my car. I've never seen them so angry, but I feel like they shouldn't have been so angry for me, wanting to change my name to be more comfortable and happy with myself. It's not like I'm dead. I just don't want to be called the name they gave me. I know I should have told them, but I just wasn't ready to when they found it. I was still getting used to my new name, and I did plan to tell them at some point. I love my parents, but I just want to be called the name I choose for myself. So, my given name is Pearl. I know my parents love the name, but I just can't find any way to be happy with it. My chosen name is June. I plan to tell them on June 1st because I feel like that will be the best time to say it. But they found out before I had. I did want to tell them, but I wanted it to have the right timing. So, am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy? Once great roommate turned into nightmare that I've chosen to confront. So I've been living with the person for about 10 months. Let's call her Alex. Alex used to be great about cleaning up until about 6 weeks ago. She's a college student, who's only 20. So I've given her a bit of leeway, but I've finally had enough. Anyway, at the start of April, I was going on a weekend road trip. Alex told me she was having a house party for a friend's birthday. Alex had been great about cleaning up her parties after in the past, so I wasn't worried. So I come back Sunday evening and come to find the house a complete disaster. Multiplied plates with ice cream cakes sitting out on the kitchen tables and counters that had been there for at least a day or two, as well as all of the kitchen chairs out in the backyard and a high pile of unclean dishes. I politely asked Alice why she didn't clean up, and she told me she was too tired and just wanted to get back home to her family in New York for the week, about a 5-hour drive from us. She eventually cleaned a few days later when she got home. I was annoyed, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt. The second major even happened during her college finals week. She decided to have a bunch of friends over on Tuesday night and blare music and be loud in the backyard right outside my room until about 2:30 a.m. when I had work the next day, of course. On top of that, she was blaring music downstairs in the kitchen with her boyfriend the next morning while I was trying to work in my room. So I again confronted her about this and calmly told her to turn it down and that I didn't appreciate her for the late party she had last night, given my work schedule. She again casually said sorry and said that she really needed to let loose. I again stupidly gave her the benefit of the doubt. What finally set me off was that she decided to stop cleaning her dishes and the kitchen after she was done cooking and or eating. She was had a lot of mason jars and decided to take up a large portion of the sink with them. I gave her a couple days before I confronted her about this. I initially sent her a text before I left home for a few hours asking her to clean up when she had time, which was ignored. I came home a few hours later to her and her boyfriend in the kitchen cooking, and all of those dishes and jars still in the sink, not clean or put away. Before she went into her room, I calmly asked her, "Can you please clean up your dirty dishes and mason jars when you guys finish eating? I'd really appreciate it." She proceeded to tell me in a very aggressive tone, "Can you tell me, is it really in your way?" Basically, she doesn't want to clean them anytime soon, I assume. This aggressive tone really caught me off guard, as it not like her, but I calmly responded, "I'm just asking you to clean up after yourself and do your part. I would really appreciate it." To which she rolled her eyes at me and slammed her door. So, am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for not cleaning my room out fast enough? I recently have become homeless. My friend was letting me stay in their sunroom. The sunroom is very small. I can fit a mattress, laundry basket, and a standing shelf in it. There is also a dresser and a bookshelf in my room. Friend and their family are using the dresser and the bookshelf of their belongings. Other than my shelf and laundry basket, I have no storage space whatsoever. A lot of my clothes and personal items are all over the sunroom. it's a mess. Friend's house is a very old house. There is no heat in it. I live in the area where the winters get really bad. This winter was terrible. Because we have no heat in the house. Friend's mom gave me a portable heater to keep warm. Then one heater wasn't enough to keep me warm. I was sleeping in 3+ layers and wearing my winter jacket. Eventually, I got a space heater, and the problem was solved. After me keeping the heaters on 24/7, both of them stopped working. Both were on their last legs, so it was only a matter of time before they gave out. I did not have the money to afford another heater, so I left friend A's home to stay with the friend B. Earlier this month, friend A asked me to clean out my room completely, so their mother could access the attic. The entrance was in my room. Friend S was broken into a few months ago, so now all of the doors are locked all the time. I don't have a key to get inside. I need friend A to let me in. Friend A had texted me that they were no home after I had asked to come over to clean out my room that day. So I made plans with another friend. 20 minutes later, friend A texted me that they actually were home and I should come now. I told them no because I was already on my way out of the door. I told friend A to text me when they're home next, and I will come by then. I never heard anything back from friend A. Last week I finally went back to friend A's. I was planning on staying over there again because it's getting warm again. I walked home to friend A's house. As I was going up the stairs to the sunroom, I started to smell cat pee. I've had COVID twice and it destroyed my sense of smell, so the smell must be strong. Friend A keeps 3 cats locked in the bedroom. I'm only positive that 1 out of the 3 cats are fixed. When I open my door, there is a little box sitting right on my bare mattress next to a pile of my clothes. The cats were peeing on everything that I owned. Literally everything. Friend A and their best friend also were throwing their trash and blankets that their cats peed on into my room. The shelf I had bought was also destroyed. I don't know how that happened, but it was in pieces. I was so angry. I just walked back to friend B's. Most of my clothes has pees on. I have almost nothing. I didn't know what to do. So I'm at the bad guy because I didn't clean out my room fast enough. I will hopefully not be homeless soon. Should I just let it go and restart? And also some kind of edit. Friend A and their family knew I was leaving my belongings in the sunroom. It was okay with them to use the room as storage until I have a place of my own. So yeah, again, I have been paying $150 a month for this room.